All right, man. Well, thank you again for hopping on the show. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course. So, what was your earliest memory with music?
Man, me and music have been tapped in for like, all my life, really. Just like mom's bumping music in the house when she's cleaning,
Yeah.
My pops, riding around in the truck with him, he was bumping like Bone Thugs, reggae, he's Tongan, Samoan, so I have a lot of that cultural influence. I've been around music my whole life, oldies, funk. I'm like tapped in with a lot of genres. Like if you would go through my iPod right now, like you'd be tripping out like what I listen to.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Bob Dylan 1 minute, Nipsey Hussle the next minute, Dreamville, I don't know who, just a bunch of, just from old stuff to new stuff. It's just a whole mix of stuff. So yeah. It's been all my whole life, really. Yeah.
I think that's pretty common here in Orange County.
Yeah.
I feel like Anaheim, Santa Ana, for sure. Like if you grew up in those cities, you grew up around funk,
right?
And then obviously like there's still like the surfer vibe, so like there's like low key chill stuff.
Hell yeah.
Obviously a lot of our parents come from that rock generation, so they listen to some of that.
Hell yeah.
If you got a lot of people are Mexican out here, so you got like the Spanish vibe in here too. So that's something that's cool about the Orange County music scene is like it's just a good mix. Like there's not just one genre that dominates.
Very versatile community that we got. So yeah.
Were you born and raised here in Orange County? Or?
Yeah, born in Santa Ana, raised in Anaheim. So I've been between both cities like my whole life.
There you go. And you said your family, at least your father's side's from what, Tonga and Samoa?
Yeah, my dad came from the island, so he's from the island of Tonga, and then his mom, my grandmother, my grandma Lafo, she's from Samoa.
Okay.
And then my grandpa is Tongan.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all mixed, and then my mom being Latina and Mexican, so I got that in me too.
Okay, right on. Sure. Have you ever been back to the islands?
Nah, man, I'm trying to make the pilgrimage for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get like the the tribal tat.
Yeah.
But I want to actually go over there and get it.
Right.
How they do it.
Okay, old school. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to get the right way. So
that's tight.
Or even have like one of the relatives just come out here and actually do it like the traditional way. So
yeah,
definitely, I'm trying to make that trip for sure.
Right on.
I want to.
Is there? Because I know there's like a good amount of Tongans and Samoans here in Orange County, especially in Southern California.
Yeah, no, we're deep.
How has that culture and like that lifestyle kind of affected you growing up?
I mean, we're influenced, just as much as any other race out here. I feel like we do have our own idea. Like a lot of us, we're cool. We're really cool people. If you ask anybody, like they got Polynesian friends, like, hey, those are the homies. They're cool.
Yeah.
They invite us over to eat. Like they're really chill people. It's just, I know we do have a reputation for having like, a crazy ass temper and all that stuff. But I'm trying to like, I don't shy away from it, but at the same time, it's like I don't glorify it. Just because I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff that hasn't even made the news ever. I've had majority of my family bangs, so. It's like I just wanted to do something different. Like you see when a kid sees something so repetitive all the time, it's kind of like he's either gonna go with it or he's gonna like go away from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I was tapped in with music at such an early age that I was able to just kind of like do my thing. Yeah. I was still around it enough to like understand it. Know the whole politics of it, of the streets and all that stuff. But I mean, it just wasn't for me. It definitely made me solid as a kid, though, growing up like that, because we get our ass whooped from an early age, bro. Like discipline is definitely like a must in that culture. So from a kid, you kind of learn how to roll with the punches, So it gives you really tough skin. That's sure.
Good. Yeah, I grew up there was a few Tongans at my high school that I went to, played football with.
What high school did you go to?
Villa Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Tufunas and the Faikis. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I've heard the name.
But they're, I played with a few of their generations, right? Different brothers, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, very chill, relaxed, calm people. But they're definitely the players you want on your team in a football game, right?
For sure.
But I know a lot of them stay out in Garden Grove, but they end up at Tustin High School. I don't know how much you follow Tustin.
I got a couple little cousins that went to Tustin High School. So I mean, we're spread out everywhere, man. The majority of us are out here. So I mean. Yeah, we get along with everybody for the most part, though. Yeah.
Did you ever play football yourself?
Not in high school. School, I didn't really. Well, I did flag football in junior high, but it didn't really last that long, But I mean, I would just play with my cousins normally because it's just in us to play. You know? rugby. We used to play rugby as a kid. Yeah. So I mean, I was not into it in high school. I was into different stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I always got invited to go out to rugby, but it was always the Islanders that invited me. And they're huge, It's like, bro, you're already hard enough to tackle. Yeah, we gotta chill. Without pads, bro, I don't even want to. I don't want to mess anything up,
Yeah, it's a contact sport. I mean, it's definitely fun, Mm-hmm. But I actually played more soccer than anything. Yeah, I played soccer and I skated a lot as a kid. So I mean, I did a little bit of everything, honestly.
Okay,
it was pretty cool.
Now, you always said too, music's been a big part of your life. Did you always know you want to do it when you grow up as a career?
Honestly, like in junior high, I used to get the songs on the radio and just write my own versions of it. Like I was just making fun of rap because I really didn't I wasn't really messing with the rap back then. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was just something fun. And then I kind of put it down for a couple of years. I started picking up poetry in high school. And then it wasn't after I graduated that, some homies of mine told me hey, you should put these, they kept seeing my lyrics and yo, you should try putting this over a beat. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I would say it was really after high school that I kind of saw it, because all the homies that I was surrounding myself with at the time were putting it in my head. Okay. Bro, you should rap over this or do this, try to make a project, try to do this. Yeah. So it had its stages for sure. Mm. Yeah.
Did your homies that also make music too, or were they just?
Yeah, man, we used to be in my homie Savi Waves. He makes most of my beats right now, and he does most of my videos. Mm-hmm. So we were in his room. We were 10, 15 heads deep. So
in a room,
bro. Shit. I mean, some of us were in the living room, just chilling, and then we would just be writing. Yeah, and then he people with the dopest verse would be able to record. You know, if your verse wasn't dope enough, you wouldn't be able to step in. Yeah. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. Little rap boot camp stuff. Ground root stuff. So I mean, yeah, it started around there. It's just been a long process, honestly, but I enjoy every part of it. Honestly, it's cool.
When did it become serious for you? Hey, I need to grind with this.
Probably when I was 19. I think that's when I dropped my first tape, Southpaw, by myself. Prior to that, I was in a little duo group called Dino Circle with me and my boy Tony. Okay. And we opened up for Quick, Bone Thugs. We had a pretty good run. Okay. And after that, I felt there was a lot of homies at the time that were kind of serious about it. They had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then a lot of homies that were doing it. My homie J Mac. Some homies ended up getting locked up. Just like I said, having 1 foot in something and then in the music. Yeah. So it's kind of seeing that again, going back to seeing something repetitive. It's you're either gonna go with it or you're gonna stick to what you're doing. Right. So after that, 19, 20 years old, I was probably okay, bro, if I'm gonna do it, now I'm gonna do it. And then I remember telling my mom I was dropping out of college. So I was just no, I gotta be serious about it now. For sure, I already decided to drop out of college. So now you gotta treat it an everyday thing now. Yeah.
So would you say school wasn't for you? It wasn't the path you wanted?
I mean, yeah, I don't knock anybody that takes that route, but for me, I felt like I gained a lot more by self-educating myself. So I mean, I still graduated, but I didn't really feel accomplished after that. I was just kind of
From where at?
Lower High School. Okay. Yeah, Lower High School. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't really have a plan. I just knew that I wanted to work for I didn't want to work for nobody. I just want to work for myself. Yeah. I didn't know specifically what, but
yeah. And see that right there, I feel that's what's lacking in public education. Exactly. Especially in the inner city, Anaheim, Santa Ana's, Garden Groves, all those. Right. They don't really teach us to think for ourselves. They don't really do any career development, how to start a business, taxes, all the important shit,
I was tripping out. We were talking about it earlier that my geometry teacher back in my senior year, she told us that something about the SATs, I think it was. They said, oh yeah, you guys just need an F to pass. And that fucked me up completely.
An F to pass?
You just need an F to pass.
Oh shit.
That fucked me up completely. I was damn, that's how much faith they have in us?
Why are you setting the bar so low?
Yeah, and that at that, I didn't really give it too much thought. But I remember for the shortest time in that classroom, for a couple minutes, I was just sitting there damn. And that stuck with me all these years. I was just kind of damn, dude, that's really crazy. Mm-hmm. No wonder these kids don't ever want to go to school. No wonder they just want to be in the streets. No wonder, it's just, the answers are there. It's just we act like we don't see them. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I had pretty good teachers in elementary school, decent teachers in middle school. Right. And I felt in high school, though, that's where it kind of fell off. And
Definitely.
I got very like minimal effort teachers.
I got a lot of substitutes.
Yeah,
I got a lot of substitutes,
yeah?
bro. I had a lot of substitutes for sure. Like just dudes, like individuals that just didn't care about the kids, bro. They just care about the paycheck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you're teaching these kids like something they're not even interested in. You know,
right?
So of course, like they feel like it's like solitary confinement. They feel like you're forced. You're being taught obedience,
right,
over everything. So.
Right, and I think definitely I've met some teachers too where they're conflicted with teaching what they want to teach and then also having to go off the curriculum, right? And because at the end of the year, if they don't pass these tests, then it looks bad on you, the teacher.
Yeah.
So you do need to follow the program somewhat, but then. You know, I know some teachers that try and have like a little extra time. They'll do some fun stuff, more experimental stuff, you know, but it's good to let these kids think for themselves because like,
definitely,
you know, like we're all individuals, right?
But I think,
I think school kind of, like you said, uniforms us, or it's almost like militarizes us to the point where we kind of assimilate and we don't think for ourselves, and we lose our uniqueness in a little bit.
I was saying it earlier that, you know, I think school really accustoms us to teaching us that the first 8 hours of the day are never ours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn, yeah.
Like if someone would ask me right now, like, oh, what's the one thing you learned in high school? I'm like, well, the first 8 hours of the day never belong to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
That's what I learned, at least. So that's what explains why I'll probably be there for 4 hours tops. You know, it's just like I felt like I was learning more outside of school.
Yeah, and there's a lot of similarities to like the typical like 9 to 5, 8 to 4 kind of job, right? Where it's like you got your break, you got your lunch, and then you got
there's a certain hierarchy that you got to follow.
Yeah, certain hierarchy, right? And it's like sometimes even like the bell schedule, right?
To respect authority and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of trippy to see how that's going. And I heard one thing too where, man, I drew a blank right now on the foot. It'll come back to me though.
Yeah, for sure.
Going back to school. Shit, man. All right. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. How'd you come up with your name, Villiami?
It's actually my middle name. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I had a few rap names before it, but I went by Mutt, M-U-T-T. Okay. And that was a nickname that my homegirl Nubia gave me back in summer school. All right. She just called me like, oh, he's a mutt because of my mixed race. So yeah. I mean, I naturally ran with that. Because it just felt, you know, like, oh, that's a pretty cool name. And then I came up with the acronym for it, like, maybe a year after that. I said, most underestimate true talent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So why'd you leave that name to Villiami?
I don't know. I just felt like no one was going to take someone named Mutt serious, you know. And then I tried adding Mutt to Dawn after that just to make it sound cooler. And then it ran for a little bit, but then I think one day... I was kicking it somewhere. I was probably in the studio, and then someone had asked me like, "Hey, how do you say your last name?" And I said, "Oh, Whippy." And then I think they were reading my ID or something, and then they said, "Oh, what's your middle name? How do you say that?" I'm like, Villiami. I'm like, "Damn, that sounds cool as hell."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why don't you just rap with that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Why don't I?" So then it just happened that way, and I felt like it was more authentic after that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, right on. I know what I was gonna say about the school. So homework teaches us as adults it's okay to do overtime or take work home from wherever we're working. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, to tie it back together.
Yeah, we got that. It's cool.
My brain's all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, same here, bro. I feel it.
So we're here at the studio today, and you're doing something that I haven't really seen a lot of artists do, 9 to 8, like a whole day set aside. Yeah. What kind of like inspires you, or kind of what motivates you to, you know, just really go hard at it and everything that you do?
I mean, I wasted a lot of time in my life. I mean, I'm not gonna cap. You know, I spent a lot of my youth just wasting time. I didn't really value time. I didn't know how valuable this life really is. Because, you know, like I said, you're out here doing whatever you do. You don't really have an outlet. So it's like you're gonna try and find it in anything that makes you feel good for the moment. At least as a youth, that's the way that I was thinking. So I guess, you know, just growing up out here and going through it a little bit, and, you know, coming from like a broken home and all that stuff, I feel like that has a lot to do with it. So it's like I know what it's like to, you know, having to start over all the time and go through a bunch of stuff and not have things go your way right away. So I'm like, you know what, I might as well go through all that doing something that I know I can't do wrong. Yeah. You know?
Makes sense.
So I feel like you know, it's just been a really crazy journey, honestly, bro. Like,
yeah.
I just booked these 8-hour sessions because I'm just trying to put in that work, you know. I feel like no one's gonna really give me that platform, honestly, and I feel like out here, especially, like, there's too much politics out here in Orange County, so I don't really depend on necessarily, like, no disrespect, not knocking nobody, but I don't really depend on no platforms.
Yeah,
you know, I push my own content. I got my own homies that, you know, that help me. So it's like, you know, I'm more or less one of those artists that I feel you got to come to.
Right.
You know, and I'm down to work with everybody. You know, I just like to leave that first impression. Yeah. Like that I'm a hustler. Like if you don't rock with the music right away, if I got to grow on you a little bit, then at least the first impression you're going to get about me is I'm a hustler.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. If you don't mind sharing, what are some of those tougher obstacles that just didn't go your way as a youth?
Man, you know, Pop's leaving, you know, early, and you know, I was only like 3 years old, so, you know, you don't really know what's going on. So it's always just constant adjustment. One day he's gone, a couple of years, it's just me and my mom, you know, struggling. And then all of a sudden she gets remarried. We move to Garden Grove. And then I'm thinking that everything's, you know, this way. I go back with Pops. He just appears out of nowhere. And I found out that he just lived a couple blocks down from us this whole time. So it's like, you know, that does a lot to a kid, I feel. So I just felt like I felt early as a kid, like, you know, like, you know, being depressed and all that stuff. Like that was way too early to be going through all that stuff. Yeah. So I try to put that in the music as much as possible. So I guess I feel like there's a lot of people, especially out here, that can resonate. Right. You know. So, and then most of the stuff, I mean, even starting music, you know, the journey wasn't easy. You know, there were times where I thought, you know, shit was gonna crack off some way, and it just didn't happen. You know, I thought, you know, I came in with certain homies. You start off with certain homies, and then you find out, you know, look, I'm the only one here doing the interview. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, you know, it's like that one interview. I don't know if you've seen it with Snoop and A$AP Rocky, where he said it's like closing the gap. Yeah. Sometimes homies fall off, and sometimes you feel it's up to you to close that gap, but you have to come back down here to pick them up. You know, so I try to keep my homies motivated and active, and try to, like, at my pace. Yeah. You know, even with I try to tell them to, you know, pursue something that they want. Taking pictures, you know, producing beats, doing something
you know? They can be independent with.
Anything better than what we're used to doing all day. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and that's what's tough too, because I feel like you can't, for lack of a better word, you can't save everyone, right? Of course. Some people, some homies do lose their way and they get into bad trouble. Or some of them don't even get into trouble. They just settle for a life that they don't want. Yeah. Right. Because it's secure, you know, quote unquote. Yeah, right? That's true. And there's some appeal to that too, you know, like some people get families really early, so they join it for their kids. Of course. I totally get that. I'm not knocking that either.
No, I don't know none of the homies that got families already.
Yeah, I just think it's something where, you know, that definitely, like, people don't push themselves to their max potential, and like I think it goes again to the school, like we're not allowed to express our creativity. We're not allowed to flex our brain, our individualism, be a one of one.
We're taught to really conceal a lot about ourselves, and so really I feel like in high school no one really knows the real you. That's why a lot of friends end up falling off. Like, you never really knew me from the start. Yeah, you know.
And I think a big thing too with high school, going back to you know, our pops and everything, right? They don't teach us how to deal with our emotions. That's one thing. You know, sometimes your friends open up to you when you're in high school or even younger, and you're just like, damn, that's some serious shit. You know. Yeah. And you never get really that platform to really express yourself. But I can only imagine, I get to work with kids now, and you know, I'm working with second graders. That's what's up. And like some of them, you know, like they're dealing with split parents, but like one parent doesn't really feed them. Right. Like he was telling me, like, the other day, like on a weekend, all he ate was like a banana and like a grilled cheese, and I was like, damn, that's, you know, that's crazy.
You know, and I relate to all that, man. So everything that those kids go through. I mean, my girl, she works with kids too, so a lot of the stuff that they go through, like I tell her, I'm like, I mean, the system, this little school system needs to cut them a break, because, you know, it's a lot for them to take.
Right, it's a lot for them to say, well,
you know, they don't know how to process all this correctly, you know. Right. So they're gonna choose whatever emotion feels right to them, you know. So if they relate to anger because that's what they see, that's what they're gonna display. Yeah. And then they're gonna take it out there, and then whoever relates to that is who they're gonna be around. Right. So.
Yeah, and then they're expected to still perform at whatever level as someone who, I don't say comes from a perfect home, but comes from better situations with two parents in a solid house. Even like the whole, like, right now.
We've had homies like that too. I've had homies like that where they come from like a really good, household, and they just decided to be on the block all day.
Yeah, and you still get some of those too. I'm not saying everyone who comes from those ideal families make it, but it's definitely, I could see it being a little easier, right? You have a lot less on your mind, and you can hit the books harder. You can hit the sports harder. You can hit whatever harder, just because you're not worried about family drama, trauma, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. 100%.
So what else you got working on here in 2020? I know you've been putting in a lot of singles.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm recording, and then I'm about to wrap up this little video series that I'm about to complete. I was gonna include with the recent EP I dropped, The Heights. So that's with Ghost House Effects, my boy Mavi. So we're about to wrap that up. We already got 3 videos done out of 5. So I kind of like, I'm taking my time with that as priority, and I'm kind of like happy. I'm like really excited actually to accomplish it, because it's like, damn, might be the first artist out here to have a video series with an EP.
That's tight.
So I mean, one of the homies had brought it up to me, like, dude, you might be the first one out here that did that. And I'm just like, dude, oh shoot, like I've been working so much, you don't think about this kind of stuff. It's like you just get stuck in the zone. I'm like, oh damn, I started tripping out.
I'm
like, wow,
it's good to
crazy,
get.
Man.
What's the first, if you can recall, the first moment in your music career that made you excited, just like you are with that video series?
Man, having a conversation with Quick.
Yeah,
with DJ Quick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, me and my boy Tony, actually, we opened up for him, and I remember that was like our biggest show. We actually sold so many tickets. Shout outs to Droops, man, from the Observatory. He hooked it up. But man, we performed, and I remember we were backstage still. Too Short, Sugar Free, and Quick were there. We were backstage, and I remember it started like sprinkling a little bit, and I was like, nah, bro, we're waiting here until Quick comes out. So Sugar Free came out first, and then he was chopping it up with us. Like, he just said, what's up? And, he was really cool. He was a funny guy. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. It's a lot of ghosts in here. Yeah, but Quick ended up coming out, and then, he was chopping it up with us. Like, oh, you guys waited out here in the rain for a picture? I was like, yeah, you think we could get one? He's like, hell yeah, you could get as many pictures as you want. Come on. So we were chopping. I was asking him, like, yo, like, how do you like stay relevant in this game? And he said, like, man, you just gotta have the right people around you. You just gotta work hard. That's it. Never lose the love for the music, for sure. So that conversation, I felt like that's what turned something on in my head. And then a couple of years later, I opened up for the Far Side, and then I didn't even know they were backstage. It was over there at the Marty's on Newport. Yeah. So we were over there. Droops cooked that up too. So we were backstage chilling, and then we go perform, and the crowd's going crazy. And so I guess they heard that backstage, and they came back around, and then we were like, oh shoot, this is the Far Side. And then they were like, yo, you're dope. Yeah, you're really dope. So I got the stamp. So after that, I was like, yo. After that, I was like, cool. I stopped. A lot of self-doubt that I was having at the time. Maybe like that stopped. Yeah. So that's probably where the work ethic started getting even more heavy.
And it's tough too, because I feel like you can self-validate yourself as much as you want, but when you do get those other voices, especially from like people, whether you looked up to them or not, but people who've been in the industry that have done it for a long time and that are successful.
It's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think that inspires. I always listen to Mike Tyson's podcast a lot.
And he always talks with Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
I fuck with that show.
And he always talks about how the time he met Muhammad Ali in whatever, it was like a detention center. I don't want to say it was juvie, but it was something like that, right? He was on a bad path.
Okay.
He meets Muhammad Ali, and he talks about how like everyone was super excited, and he like wanted that.
Right.
And like he shared a few words with him before like he even started boxing, and then that's what made him want to be a boxer. He met him again before he like blew up, and but it's just like moments like that can really just kind of turn the tide, like almost like a storybook or like a movie type thing,
it happened like at the moments where I was probably doubting myself the most. I was just like, man, I'm not making no money off this, man. I've been doing this, like, and then that happens out of nowhere, and it's kind of like you kind of start putting the pieces together yourself, and then kind of figuring out like, okay, maybe I am doing something right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. How different is the business model now as an independent artist? Especially during quarantine, you can't do any shows and stuff like that, and the streams. How's that different than what it used to be a few years ago, or even like almost the beginning of the decade?
I feel like right now, especially right now, how you said being if independent is the way you want to go, then I mean you gotta be as deep into your content as much as your music. You know, you gotta treat it with the same care and everything. So that's why, like, you know, we were saying going back to the work ethic and all that stuff. We did a photo shoot, you know, doing the interview, and I'm working on songs, you know. So it's like, I mean, yeah, I feel like that's where it has to be at. Like, you know, mentally, you got to be on that type of trip, because I feel like if you take yourself that serious, you know, everyone around you is gonna start. Oh, damn! Like,
yeah, it reflects.
You know? Yeah,
you know?
It's so, like I said, leaving the first impression on people. You know, like you're gonna get off top that Villiami's a hustler.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
so I like leaving that impression on people, at least.
Right.
Let the music grow with them as it goes.
And then you'll get surrounded, I think, too, in your circle, other people who are just as hungry. It might not even be the whole music thing, but it could be people who take photos, videos, all that kind of stuff. Just people who are grinding and whatever they do.
Networking is is a big part of it as well. You know, I feel like if you have to think like a label. You know, really. You know, it's like that's the difference now. Like artists have to it really is more work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So whoever takes that extra step it's gonna separate, you know, who really has something going on and who doesn't. So
yeah, and I think it's trip too. Like even with the podcast, like you said, think like a label. Like thinking like, how else do you attract new people, right? Like how do you catch the attention of new people? Because you can, you know, you send to all your homies, you can share it on social media, but still that's still within your circle. Like how do you leave your bubble? And I think that's the tough part, where the label does a lot of times take care of it, or just someone who does have money backing you does take care of it. And I think that's the more challenging part that I'm discovering too. But how do you get your music to other ears?
Man, I mean the normal platforms right now, you know, Spotify, iTunes, all that. I mean, I just try to keep the music consistent on somewhat, you know, like I try to let people know of like multiple things that I got going on. Like I give them like 3 things tops that I'm doing, you know. So everyone that's been following me so far knows that I've been working on this video series. If they've been paying attention, you know, they know like, oh damn, he's gonna come out with part 3 soon. We're waiting on it. So they know that's coming, and they know that I dropped Early Bird a tape called Early Bird just out of nowhere. And then so that's more music, just strictly music that they can listen to. Yeah. So I mean, it's just about balancing it out. And then as far as like performances and stuff, right now with the COVID, it's like I'm not really trying to, you know, be out there too much like that. But I feel like my next performance, I'm gonna try and incorporate it. I'm gonna try and incorporate like that in my next drop for sure. More fan interaction somehow. Like if they buy like a shirt or something, you come see a free show.
Yeah, you know? Makes sense.
You know, something like that. Yeah, something similar to what I don't know if you're familiar with Most Critical. Yeah, he did that with he did his little campaign, so something similar like that. Yeah, you know? He's
based out of Anaheim too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so shout outs to him. I was paying attention to that, and I got inspired by that for sure. So I was thinking of taking a similar route towards something like that.
Makes sense. And you mentioned 2020 and COVID, obviously too. How did that like time off and just like the time kind of being quarantined, at least in the beginning, like how did that affect your music?
I mean, honestly, I kind of been like isolated. You know, I'm not really on the scene that much, only because I'm always doing something. I'm always working, but I try to stay tapped in with as many people as I can. Okay. You know, so I mean, as far as the code, I mean, it didn't really like affect me too much. I just knew that maybe as far as performances, I'm like, okay, merch sales are gonna hurt for sure. Yeah. So I'm gonna fall back on that a little bit. Try to rebrand. You know, try to like go back to the drawing board, see what else I could do with this. So you know, try to make it close to bulletproof for when the COVID is over, and I can just kind of pick up where I left off. Yeah. So yeah, I'm more behind. It gave me the opportunity to really think about more stuff, honestly. Yeah. Like, okay, what am I gonna do with the videos, the content, you know, all that stuff. Yeah.
What did you think it was gonna drag on this long? Because you mentioned being it over, but it's still not over, and we're here recording in November. You think it was gonna drag this out this long?
I never know how long, the recording process is gonna drag me, bro. Like sometimes it'll drag me for like a week or two, and then I'll just be focused on a bunch of other stuff, and then there'll be times like this where I'm like, oh, you know what, I need as much time as I can get. I'll go like 3 months just making music.
Yeah.
Not really promoting anything, just making music. The homies know I got a bunch of unreleased stuff that we just bump just between us.
Yeah.
So it's like they've heard most of my stuff already, and they just I'm always getting like, dude, drop something. But it's like, no, I gotta be calculated with this.
Yeah.
I gotta be real strategic with it.
Yeah.
It's chess, not checkers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, I gotta try and be right with every move.
Mm-hmm.
At least feel 100 in myself about it.
Makes sense. As far as in the music industry or outside the music industry, any like idols you looked up to, people that really kind of helped shape you?
Yeah, moms for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first person. And she made me very articulate at a very early age. She had me reading like at 3-4 years old.
Okay, damn.
So it's like, yeah, man. I was a smart kid. I just didn't like school.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of those.
Yeah,
too.
Man. Yeah, dude. That's why like we were going back saying like having an outlet and all that, being creative. That was a big part of it. She always encouraged me to be creative for sure. And my pops too, even though he wasn't around, I always knew he was a hustler. He never worked for nobody his whole life, so I got that from him for sure. Any outside of music, I looked up to. I had an aunt that did real estate, and I remember when we lost our house. She was actually trying to get us a new place, and she actually like kind of fixed our situation. So. She was probably the reason why I even started like looking into that. Even recently I've been looking into wholesaling.
Damn,
so
okay.
I'm learning about that right now. A lot of people, man. I'm inspired by a lot of people.
As far as artists go, other rappers, who'd you look up to?
Man, we could be here all day talking about that. Everybody from the OGs, like Pun, Biggie, Pac, Kendrick, Cole, I fuck with 21 Savage. I fuck with his energy. DW, Flame, Logic. There's a lot of men. Wiz, Wayne. There's a lot of people, man. Inspired by a lot.
Yeah, a lot of lyricists too, right?
Definitely lyricism. That's what I first started with. I kind of like was on the New York wave, when I started, and then moving my way like through a bunch of artists down the coastline, and then making my way more to West Coast artists.
Yeah. So,
I feel like the more variety and taste that you have in music, the more developed your ear is gonna be.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I definitely feel like in more recent years, the lyricist kind of rapper hasn't been pushed. But do you think that like is gonna change anytime soon?
I feel like that tide is gonna turn real soon. Like, there's a lot of like my younger homies that hear me, and it goes back to what I was saying about just being authentic. These younger cats are gonna feel something that they can relate to. Right. If you're not saying anything in your music, whether it's boom bap, whether it's a trap beat, whether it's whatever, if you're not saying anything, it's not gonna take off. It's only gonna stay in your little circle of homies, maybe, if you're lucky, But I feel like artists need to be more authentic, and I feel like that's where people resonate. Like if they can relate to it, and they not just the beat. I feel like if you're really saying something, and they'll be like, oh damn, damn, I know what that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna support him because he's talking that real shit. So it goes back to that.
Yeah.
So,
and I definitely think too, with the times in 2020, COVID, obviously, like different things being exposed, people slowly start to make that shift. Yeah. Because
they're starting to look up more, going down the rabbit hole of everything. So
right. Yeah. Because even like a rapper, I'm trying to blank on it, Lil Baby, right? Like doesn't usually make that kind of conscious lyrical stuff. Yeah. But even he was turned to that this year, right?
Yeah, because I forgot what song it was. He did a song for like Black Lives Matter, and I remember hearing that joint. And I was just like, I had to respect it. Yeah, like you have no choice but to respect it because he did his thing. He's saying something, and then he even said, I think he had a part in the song where he said, I usually don't talk about this stuff. Right. But I have to. Yeah, I have to, and I respect that. You know, like we said, going back to being versatile, an artist that can do that, I feel like that really defines an artist of this age. Yeah, if you're able to do that, hop in between certain things, like no subject is too touchy for you, right? You know. Yeah, and I think if you really feel a certain way about it, say something. Yeah.
And they're always, the saying goes, like, art is always reflective on the times, right? Whether it's like painting art, music art, whatever. Right. And definitely like the times now that we're living in, obviously not just because of COVID, but because like race tension, social media, politics right now. Like, I think definitely we're going to make that shift back to the more artist who's saying something, the rapper who's saying lyrical stuff. Right. Whether it could be, I don't know, I'm not gonna stereotype any other artist or whatever, but it's definitely going to shift back towards that because we're not, it's like a lot of stuff can't be ignored and just, I don't know, you know what I mean?
I feel like it's also because a lot of artists like just want to sound like somebody else now. It's like whatever the sound is, they try to follow that. And it's like, okay, well, you can do that, but how, like, is that gonna help you float in the long run? Always doing what the next man does, you know? And or are you gonna build your audience off of, you know, the strength of you? Right. So that's why I try to develop my stuff like outside of the scene a little bit, you know, because I feel like everyone has a different approach than I do. And it's cool. I don't knock nobody. Salute everybody that's out here doing it. Get it how you get it, but you know, I just do my thing.
How do you make sure you stand out from everybody else that's doing it?
I mean, just off the strength of, you know, who I am already. You know, my name, my background. You know, I can make songs about, you know, relationships. I can make songs about alcoholism. I can make songs about the streets. I can make songs about anything. You know, you guys were here, I think, in the last session that we did. You know, we went from a boom bap beat, you know, hardcore with YBG. We went from that hardcore boom bap 90s type vibe to like a total trap R&B type stuff. Yeah. So it's like, man, I'm just really tapped in with music to where, like, if it just sounds good, if it's a vibe to me, I'm gonna follow it. So I feel like that's what separates me. I'm not really scared to try anything. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll get somebody that can do it better. You know. Yeah. You know, at least if I know I can hold a note, I'll try it. You know? Okay. You know what I mean? So I mean, I just try to stay versatile. Yeah. You know? That's it.
I feel that. So how does the creative process start for you? You need to hear a beat first, or you already start writing and then you just look for a beat to kind of complement it?
Man, I got like so many processes now, bro. It's like I can listen. It happens like that sometimes. I'll hear a beat and then I'll just start writing or freestyling something if I feel it. Sometimes I already have something written and then I'll just hear a beat and be like, yo, let me try this real quick. If it sounds good, then I'll keep it. Other times, you know, I'll just have something like a whole song and I'll just wait until I link with the producer and we can actually build the beat from scratch. You know? Okay. I get real, you know, detailed about the drums, everything about it. Like we really dissect it, open it up, and then rebuild it again. You know, try to build a record more than anything.
Make an experience, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it has to be enjoyable, for sure.
You typically, like you said, you bounce around from beat to beat, but is there any beat that you particularly feel, or style of beats that really like kind of hones in with you?
Mostly my guy Savi Waves. You know, I mean, he's really the one that he's really my go-to as far as if I'm searching for a certain sound that I want, or if I have an idea that I think he can flip and do. You know, most of the time he's my go-to. So I'm really experimental. Yeah. You know, really, really experimental. Like I can just be on some rap shit one day and then I might want to sing the next day. Yeah. You know, if I don't want to sing or rap, then I'll just, you know, be behind the scenes. Yeah. You know, kind of mentoring my younger homies and showing them how to record and showing them how to do a hook. Okay. You know, how to structure 16 bars, you know, stuff like that. So I enjoy the process of also, you know, mentoring helping the younger homies that actually take an interest in it. Like, yo, how do you... I'm trying to do this. I'm like, all right, come to the studio. I'll show you. Yeah. So
that's tight too. Everyone needs like a teacher, right, or a mentor. Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be like the physical like teachers that you see in high schools, right? Or even your parents might not always cut it. but it's good to have that, and definitely like music, because it isn't taught at the schools or like in a formal education type of sense.
Yeah,
it's good to link up with someone who can kind of show you the ropes, even if it's just the basics.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone to just kind of help guide you, because I think that's what like we all need, right? Coaching.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could definitely say like maybe like my youth, some of it would have been different if I would have had like that, person telling me like, hey, like, why don't you put this to a beat, try it out,
Yeah.
I felt like if I was doing that in high school, like, oh, I would have been like a beast by now.
Yeah.
I probably would have had a bigger catalog for sure, but you gotta deal with it how you get them, how you get the cards.
I feel that. So with 2020 nearing an end, do you have any plans for the rest of this year outside of your radio series, or just stuff that you'd like to continue to push at the beginning of next year?
I'm trying to get something organized. Well, I think we were talking about it the last session we were here, that I want to get like a little video show type vibe, like Rap City, back where we just have artists come in, play like a top 10 videos of Orange County artists and have them do a freestyle in the booth, something like that. So I'm trying to get that organized for sure with some of the homies that shoot videos and stuff like that. I'm also me and my family members were talking about getting a group together, just trying to like help out clean the beaches like during the week, try and help out like, community wise.
That's dope.
I'm trying to get that together for sure. Just to help out. We were talking about shout outs to global warming earlier.
Yeah, for real, man. So fucking got to clean up our act.
I'm tapped in on that for sure.
So
definitely next year. That's what I'm looking at.
Let me know, bro. I'll definitely be willing to come out for sure on winter break.
Yeah,
that's the cool thing about working at schools. It's like you get the breaks off with the kids too.
Hell yeah. For sure.
That's tight. What makes you, I guess, or was there a voice when you were younger that kind of helped you be more environmentally friendly, whether it is global warming, picking up trash, or whatever you do?
Moms. Yeah. Really, yeah. My mom's is woke, but man, she had me on a lot of stuff, like she taught me about the zodiac.
What's your sign?
My sign is Gemini.
Gemini. Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right on.
Yeah, my mom's is a Scorpio. So I mean, I had a little knowledge on that. She taught me about politics, the difference between Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, outside of school, like if I wasn't, doing whatever I was doing, moms was putting me up on game on a lot. So.
Well, I think a lot of people too, just to sidetrack to the politics.
Yeah.
People don't realize like Democrats back in the day before slavery, Republicans were against it, right?
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's kind of flipped. You know what I mean? A little bit like the parties have flipped. And there was a Russ song that came out this past week, and Ab Soul was featured on it. And the first like line he drops is like, "Know your roots and who you're rooting for." And I don't know if he was referencing that, but like as soon as he said that line, I was like,
that's bro,
that's what
at
least it means to me.
Right.
Everyone's screaming Democrat.
But Soul's been on that type of vibe, where he could kind of sneak in like a little political, gem here and there.
Yeah.
So I respect that too, like people that are able to do that, get your point across without necessarily having to dumb it down,
That's tight, man. What else did your mom teach you? You seem like a big important factor in your life.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, she had to raise 2 kids on her own for a good minute. So, I mean, she taught me how to cook.
Yeah, for
sure. Yeah, she taught me how to cook. Pick up after myself, standard stuff. She put me on game. About girls really early. You get your game from a woman like that. So I mean, you're ahead of the game. Going in. So. No better way to understand the mind of a woman than get it from the mind of a woman.
Right, yeah, so, of course.
100%. Yeah, man. So, I mean, my mom put me on a lot, man. Music, politics, religion, a bunch of stuff. Yeah. My mom's really knowledgeable in a lot.
What's your favorite dish that she can cook for you?
Lasagna.
Hey.
Bro. Mom's lasagna smacks to this day.
And what would you say your best dish is if you had to invite friends over?
Man. Wait, what? Oh, the medicated eggs, and bacon. Yeah. I made eggs and bacon one day with THC.
Really?
Oil,
how'd you get that?
my homie Seven, he had a bunch. He made like a whole batch, and he just dropped it off at my house one day. He's like, "Hey, cook with this." And I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's THC butter. Like, you can use it for anything." So I tried it, and then we were just smacked for the whole day after that. Yeah, man. Wow. So I guess the medicated food is my thing.
Okay. All right.
You know, I'm trying to medicated chow mein.
Damn, yo, that's hard as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make medicated steaks right now. So
yeah,
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
You'll have to link me up with that, because I know me and one of the homegirls are trying to start a medicated food YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
A cooking channel.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll have to invite you out sometime.
Let's do it.
Fuck. It's kind of crazy though. Like, how old are you?
28.
So yeah, like when you were in high school and even before then, like smoking was like so.
Smoking was like the worst thing that you could do,
and even getting it was so hard, and to the point now where you could just easily access things like THC butter, or
it's way more
CBD,
accessible.
Anything, right? It's crazy accessible now, and even like going to dispensaries and clinics is like a trip from 2011, 12. You know.
Yeah, versus like just going and knocking on your homie's window, asking for a 20. You know?
Yeah.
Just
trusting like.
She used to be so simple, man. These kids got it so easy, they don't even know.
Yeah. Well, there's like that meme too, where it's like the first time we learned how to smoke, and it was like the water bottle bongs.
Oh, and wow,
like the kids nowadays learning how to smoke is just the pens, the stizzies, and stuff
Classics.
Like that. And it's like, bruh.
Man, I remember those. I used to make a bunch of those in high school. That was fun.
Do you remember the first time you ever smoked?
I was 12 years old.
Damn.
Everyone's like, I was 12, man. I was at Palm Lane Park. I just got out from Ball Junior High. It was me, my homie. It was my homie Presso and the other homie, David. And we were just chilling there. I don't know who got the joint. We managed to get our hands on like half a joint. And we were just smoking it. And I remember I just fell asleep under a tree for like 45 minutes. I woke up and I just walked home like nothing. I was just like, oh, wow, okay, cool. But after that, I didn't start smoking again until like I was like 15.
Okay.
And then I would smoke every day, all day. 15 years old. Chiefing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because weed does just something different for everybody, but what does it do for you?
I mean, it keeps me, calm. A lot. It makes what I would usually give a quick reaction to. I'd probably just be like, all right, let me worry about that later. I'm doing this right now. So I mean, it helps. It just helps deal with like a lot of the frustration. Like I said, going back to some things not going your way, so it's kind of like, all right, bro, not today but tomorrow. So I mean, it makes the day easier, kind of enjoy the day when it's in slow motion. Yeah, and it's interesting to see his attitudes change publicly with weed, and like more people start smoking it. Right. Hopefully everyone's just like more chill or more mellow. I hope so, man, because you still get those weird looks every time you smoke a blunt. You could walk outside your own house, the neighbors will just be staring at you, just like you're hitting the pookie or something. I'm just like, bro.
Yeah, there's still some old school people, older generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's them. It's more of a respect thing with them, and I understand it. So, I mean, I don't really trip on that.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone I know, not everyone I know, but most people I know, under like 36, 40, like they're all smoke. Doctors, lawyers, teachers. Like, it's kind of crazy.
You'd be surprised, especially out here, how many people smoke. Doctors, lawyers, judges. I mean, there's a bunch of people, bro. There's a bunch of people.
It starts to make me think, like, when my parents... hypocrites, for like getting on me about smoking.
For sure. Well, when mom's found out that I smoked weed, like she didn't find out until after high school. That I smoked weed. So I mean, after she found that out, she was kind of like, I mean, I did too.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Like, she was like, yeah. She was just like, I mean, as long as you're not done with it,
right.
You got to take, if you're gonna, I feel like if you sign up for it, you got to take the accountability that comes with it,
Yeah, and that approach, I think, is not to bash on anyone who doesn't do that, but I think that's a good approach to parenting.
Right.
Because if you constantly deny it and then you constantly like take it away or try and shield them from it,
yeah,
they're gonna want to rebel.
They're gonna want it more.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. Because now it's like that forbidden fruit.
Essentially. Yeah, because I mean that my family made weed sound like the worst thing that you can do on earth. Like,
yeah,
you know, they made it sound like heroin at one point. So I was just like, you know what? Why do you guys hate this so much?
Yeah,
you know. And I was like, well, I'm gonna keep smoking it until I find the answer. And like, nope, still not hitting me in a bad way. So, I mean, yeah, everyone has a different experience with it, but mine was like, I'm glad to say that mine was more enjoyable than you know most. I never got busted with it or nothing major like that. So I mean,
that's good.
As far as weed, like, yeah, man, I've been chill.
Are you more of an indica or sativa person?
Man, I'm just a hybrid all the way.
Okay.
You know, I just keep it hybrid all the way. You know, I like having a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You never know how it's gonna hit you, especially when I'm recording. So I mean, however it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that.
I feel it. I just feel like people are too picky about that. Way too picky about that sometimes.
Yeah, just cause like anything, right? Like, you know how there's people who are super into wines, beers. There's gonna be people who are super into the whole like.
They'll be like, oh, but what kind of OG is this?
Yeah. Oh, what strand is this?
Yeah, what strand is this? How long has it been left outside? Or like, like, bro, just smoke it. Who cares?
Just roll it up.
Does it get you high? All right then. It does its job.
Yeah. I will say this though, like there's definitely things I try and stay away from though as I learn more about it, because sometimes I be getting too high. Right. Like it's way too strong. You know, and I'm just like, whoa, like Top Shelf now is a lot different than Top Shelf 2012, 2013. I think.
Shoot, man, I didn't even know there was a Top Shelf back then, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just knew a person that had the bomb and the person that had the booth.
Okay. Right.
So I mean, like, you just know who to go to more or less. But yeah, nowadays, like, some of the stuff that they put in that, I keep an eye on that too. You know, every time I know we be smoking blunts too, we look for the white ash every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
White ash, healthy smoke.
Oh shit. Good to know.
Stoner fact.
Yeah.
Little stoner fact.
What are some other stoner facts that we should drop knowledge?
Don't take an edible after a full stomach.
Okay.
Or an empty stomach for that. Oh yeah, the homie Alex, he chugged I forgot what it was, like a fruit drink, but a THC infused fruit drink.
Yeah.
Chugged it, and they said if you chug this whole thing at the spot we were at, you chug this whole thing, you get another one for free. And he's like, yeah, I'm thirsty, I'm down.
Bruh.
Did it all. And then we went to Long Beach to get I did an interview with Maserati Shells that day.
Yeah.
And he threw up all over Maserati's floor.
Damn, I gotta ask.
And the crazy thing about it is that, shout outs to Maserati, man, because he wasn't even tripping. He was just like, damn, this is good content. That's the only thing he said, and we were just laughing. We were just like, yo. And then the homie was just like sitting back on the couch, just like all passed out. But bruh. Yeah, bro, don't edibles are a whole different monster, y'all. So don't even try it unless you know you got the nuts to try it, honestly, because that's a whole different monster. I had bad experiences with edibles.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had really like good experiences, so I try and stay away from it.
You just feel like you're dying.
Sometimes,
I don't know why people like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you're smoking, you just might fall asleep. You might doze off, get hungry. Worst thing that'll happen is you get hungry. You eat up everything in the fridge.
Yeah.
You know, off an edible, you just.
Yeah. But I think it's more controllable too, because like as you're smoking, sometimes like if it's a good high, you can kind of feel it as you're smoking, as you're halfway through the blunt or through a pipe or whatever it is, you know. And you kind of you can kind of cut yourself, right? Where the edible, I feel like a lot of times it's a delayed hit, and then a lot of times it hits you like really hard all at once.
Yeah, people underestimate it too much.
Yeah. And there's definitely times too where like I've fallen victim to where it's like 3 hours later. Like it's not hitting. Like let me get another one.
They said it was supposed to be. It's supposed to hit me after an hour. Nah, take another piece.
Yeah.
And then like right after the hour after that, you're just dying, just begging for that stuff to stop. Oh, man.
Right on. What's your favorite thing to do other than make music while you're medicated?
While you're medicating, I mean, I just like medicating in general.
Okay.
I like just kicking it with the homies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I enjoy writing scripts.
Yeah.
Still, you know. If I'm not doing the real estate thing, you know, if my head's not in that, I just, you know, post up, kick it, hang out with family. You know, try to be at home a lot. Well, I mean, you kind of have to be at home now, but try to be at home a lot more. You know? Definitely.
Right on. Do you?
That's what I
was like, then what about my elbow? I was like, is there ash on it? My bad. All right.
Nah, all right. Well, before we wrap things up, I'd like to ask these fun, introspective questions to help the audience to get to know you a little bit better. If you could talk to any person, dead or alive in history, who would it be?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. All right. Why Malcolm?
I've read some of his books, so I mean, I would want to pick his brain, just like, you know, what led him to, you know, really see the way he saw things. You know, like, why wasn't there any other way other than the way he saw?
Yeah.
You know, why did it arrive to that point for him? You know, I would like to pick his brain about that.
Yeah.
You know,
I recently read a good book too, and I'll probably exchange it with you. It's called The Blood Brothers, and it's about Muhammad Ali's and Malcolm X's relationship and how you know that ended up being the end of Malcolm X. But it's crazy because they used a lot of Malcolm X's personal journals, and then also it's from the viewpoint of the FBI. Like they basically admit the FBI was wiretapping, and it talked about, like, they had like a lot of his phone calls that he would make to other people, his close friends, that kind of stuff, and how he, towards the end of his life, he knew he was gonna get taken out by the Nation of Islam. And I just thought, like, that's a shitty way to live. For like 2+ years, he was just like worried, like every single
always having to watch his back, paranoia and all that.
And I was just like, damn, man. Like if they didn't kill him, like, that would have killed him. The stress of that, for sure, in a few years, you know,
I feel like that's definitely a looming question still to this day. Like, how do you live like that?
Right.
You know, knowing, like, at any time, these fools can just pull up.
Yeah. Take you out.
And it can all be over today.
Right.
You know, like, how did he even keep going after that?
Right.
You know, like, it takes a certain type of courage, I think, to know that I probably am not gonna, you know, live to see this, but, you know, I'm here. Let's do it anyway.
Yeah. Push the message out.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
So let's say you're stranded on an island, but food and water provided. What are 3 things that you'd like to bring to help pass the time?
Weed. Probably just a lot of music somehow, like iPod, CDs, or like however.
Yeah.
You know, just a bunch of music just to listen to. And damn, dude, a machete.
Machete, okay. All right, I fuck with
machete, and then I'll figure out the rest from there.
Okay. All right, cool. 2 more. If you could have any toppings on a pizza, what would it be?
Pineapple. Pineapple, just because it's fire. I don't care what nobody says.
All right.
Pepperoni.
Okay.
I'm a traditional guy.
Pepperoni,
Yeah.
2 peas.
Yeah.
All right. And then if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would tell my younger self to value taking 5 steps backward to take 10 forward. I would tell myself to be more patient. You know, I would tell myself not to react so quick to certain situations, certain people. You know, I definitely would have told myself about this, like, you know, hey man, a couple years down the line you're gonna be that guy. But, you know, I think, I'll just tell myself to be more patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Sure. Well said. Well, before we wrap things up, go ahead and plug anything you'd like to plug, social medias where you can listen to your music.
Instagram, VILLIAMI. What?
No, just say it
Oh, in here. See, George is on it. See, I'm telling you, surround yourself with the right homies. They keep you on point. So yeah, Villiami on YouTube, Instagram, all that. 3 eyes for Instagram at the end. Twitter. You know, you click follow me on Instagram. You can find me on the link tree. Has my YouTube, Spotify. Has some articles that, you know, recently did some covers on my music and stuff like that. So yeah, man, check me out. Tap in with me, man. I got a lot going on, man.
For sure. We really appreciate you again for coming out.
Man, I appreciate you having me, bro.
Of course.
Thank you.